This will be a very short walk, but a pleasant autumn walk, and a lot of plants, interestingly a lot of flowers still alive, a lot of interesting stuff to see, including the most deadly mushroom you can find in this area. Join me on the short walk and we will see what nature had in store for us today. Okay, this might be interesting start of the trek. Right where I parked, there are some dewberries and Chinese lantern. I actually want to talk a bit more about this one. It seems to be alone here. It's hardly noticeable. And here are the dewberries. Unlike the blackberries, there are only a few of these, let's call them bulbs, or however you want to call them. And if you would pick them, like I will, they fall apart quite easily. Now these ones are probably good and edible, but I'm not going to eat them because I'm so near the road. Instead, I will go a tiny bit further. Well, call me crazy, but there is nothing better than walk in the woods. Always something to notice. Beautiful plants that can kill you, beautiful plants that can heal you, beautiful plants that can do both. Mushrooms that can do all of those things as well. And here is the autumn crocus. You wouldn't want to eat that. That's as far as my knowledge about it goes, really. Don't touch, don't eat, just cherish its beauty. But if we go just further down here, we will see something else. And if you would see it only in this stage, you likely wouldn't have no idea what this is. Honestly, I probably also wouldn't. But right next to it is its brother or sister who got a bit bigger, who can tell us some stories and present itself a bit better. This is magpie mushroom. It is member of the inkcap family, so it is known that when it rottens, it starts to have this ink-like blackish mass on it. It smells quite mushroomy, to be honest, like some kind of mushroom sauce when I smell it. But you should not eat this one. Magpie mushroom is not edible. There are some of the inkcap families that are edible. Most of them you should harvest young, or actually all of them, and eat them within 4 hours max. Oh, this one has rotten some more. See the black ink. I wonder, would you be able to make a black risotto with this one? No, not a smart idea. I'm just talking nonsense today for some reason. Don't mind me. But yeah, those were magpie mushrooms. And who knows what awaits us. I still didn't reach that forest that I wanted to check. And there are some predator birds that you can hear making circles on the skies, looking for little rodents to eat. And here a bunch of Chinese lanterns. You can see them looking almost like tomatoes from the distance. This plant is actually known to have some medicinal properties, but also some toxic ones. So if you want to do anything with it, be very careful and look it up, check more sources. But call me crazy, look at these. Berry is supposed to be inside, and in this case it's not. And not only this case, but the case right next to it. So I wonder which kind of animal eats this, because obviously it seems somebody did. Something did. Here is the one that's still inside. I'll take a photo so you can see better. There is almost like a net that's left over from the part that surrounds it, and everything. It looks very pretty. Well, at least for me. Maybe this thing here, it does look like somebody tore apart the piece of it and then ate the berry inside. So this one. But you know, it could be also possible maybe it just rotten away and it fell down by itself. Not sure, but it looks too violent for me here to just. It does not look like it fell apart by itself, at least for me. I don't know, correct me if I'm wrong. Yeah, I'm going to take some pictures and move on. One of the things I need to check today is the forest up ahead, a bit to the right, where I was near the springtime and summertime, and this time I do expect to see some mushrooms there, so you'll see if it will happen. Oh, what are you? Some kind of leaf hopper or something, I'm not sure. But yeah, not much time ahead of me, so I will just keep on going. Well, I don't want to be overly dramatic, but I'm going to present to you the most deadly mushroom you can find in this area. This is the death cap. And amazingly, you know, for the things that are most this or most that, it is not rare at all. There you can see one baby growing, the same one. It's a terrible thing to be poisoned by. Leads to that in most of the cases, and not only that, it is actually famous for the fact that after a day or two, the symptoms are subsiding, so you have illusion that you are getting better, but then the organ failure starts to catch up and you suddenly die. It's a very tricky, very dangerous thing. And like I said, not rare at all. There is a bunch of it. So let's just count it. We are in the oak forest. Well, this is mostly oak here. And there is a ton of them. Look at this. 1, 2, 3, 4. Look at this. This is baby growing next to this one. Amazingly, it also happens that these mushrooms end up on the markets where the edible ones are sold, and then you can get poisoned while trusting whoever is selling mushrooms to you. Look at this thing. So wherever I look, I just see death caps. Wherever I look, I see the most poisonous, most deadly mushroom this region has ever known. Here it is. Look at this thing. This one is quite huge, if you ask me. And these, the same things. Amazingly, something seems to have eaten this one. I really not know. I don't know what eats the death cap. It does look like a snail or something eating it. I trust that animals know better than doing that, but who knows? I will look it up. Maybe actually there is there are some animals that can eat this. Who knows? It is certainly not humans, though. And call me crazy, but this is a fairy ring of death caps. So follow it. It is almost a perfect circle of death caps. I didn't even know they can make fairy rings. Look at them here. Bunch of them. Amazing. But this one is cute. So this is not a death cap, of course. This is a puffball. But look how cute it is growing on this moss piece of stump. I'm going to take a photo of this. This looks beautiful. But these guys, you know, right now I'm literally in a circle of death. It's amazing thing to think about, really. Well, judging by the sheer amount of death caps, this forest is definitely trying to kill me. But that's okay. I'll live to record another day. Unfortunately for you, mosquitoes are eating me alive, though. This is the place I looked forward to seeing. A very old oak tree. I'm not an expert in oak trees, but just by the size of it, I would say it is at least 150 to 100 years old, if not more. Too bad it cannot tell any stories, because I'm sure it would have a lot of them to tell. And this is the part I remember from earlier. It has like a small cave inside where water is coming from, and right next to it, you guessed it, is a death cap. So now that we established this is a forest of death, let's see if there is by any chance anything else besides the death caps here and mosquitoes. So this is, to be entirely honest, I have no idea what this is. Maybe some large tree was here and then was pulled out, or some sinkhole of sorts. There is a bunch of those in these terrains. But yeah, interesting. That fairy ring of death caps was a very welcoming sight right at the start of entering the forest. Actually, maybe, I am not sure that death caps make fairy rings. It is quite possible it is just something they formed by accident. There were so many of them there, and that only there at one point they make something what seemed to be a circle or semicircle. But who knows? I will actually look it up. What is amazing is when you get to another part of the forest, and I'm talking just a few steps, like 20 steps or so, not some huge amount of distance. The entire terrain can be quite similar, but what grows beneath you can be quite different, or in different amounts. It's like you are entering a sort of different mini universes, if you want. Now here, there is much less of death caps, even though there is a decent amount of them. See one there, saw one somewhere over here just a moment ago. But there is also other stuff. For example, what I noticed apart from the puffballs, which were also present on the other side, I believe I found some milk caps here. I won't be going too deep into identification, but it is the milk cap kind of mushroom. So here they are. They have a hole in the middle. Oftentimes there are pieces of rain, drops of rain that are inside. If you look at it just from a profile, let's say, you can see it has this... How is that shape called? My brain stopped working. I'll write it on the screen. I'm sorry. But yeah, there it is. Here is a good prominent example of another milk cap, a bit covered by leaf. They are good kind of edible ones, but they are known to have orange sap. These ones likely have the white one, so that's a good identification for poisonous versus non-poisonous. But again, I'm just talking very, few words here, just general ones, not entire guide on mushrooms, so please consult experts and others before you decide to pick and eat anything, mushrooms or not. And here is some kind of Russula family mushroom. Tiny one here. Might be the sickener, might not. And these guys, they are actually different genus. So milk caps are separate genus. I think it's something. Lactarius or something like that. And this one is Russula genus, but they are quite related. If you look at them, they are quite similar in a way. They have this drop on the cap. They have this shape that I forgot the name of. And one very interesting thing, they are one of the few, if not almost the only organisms on entire Earth that have oval cell shape. So most of the creatures do not have those. These one have circular kind of cells, and that is the reason why if I would take one and snap the stipe, so it would be quite a clear snap, and you could even hear it when you do it, and you won't get that with other types of mushrooms, but you will see that with these guys. So Lactarius, I think, and Russula genus. So that was it. If you ask me, quite an interesting walk. Until next time.